What could be different about me now that would make you interested?
I don't know. Throw the whole thing away and start from scratch.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Beducated.com. I learned a vulva massage technique from one of Beducated's instructors. When I tried it out, I watched her eyes go wide as she said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I guess the other guys she'd been with weren't Beducated. Up your love life for $10 a month with promo code MANWHORE at Beducated.com. Again, visit the link in the schnotes or use code MANWHORE at BEDUCATED.com.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the fan whores, to the whoreheads, to the pod sluts, and to all the headphone harlots out there. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Welcome to the show. If you are new to this program, about 10 years ago, I got the idea to start interviewing women I'd hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. I had this weird problem in college in my early 20s where women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me seriously, and I wanted to know why. It's been a journey, it's been an adventure, there's been a lot to learn, and I am bringing back our very first guest on the show, Nikki from Tinder. Yes, Nikki, we do not call her Nikki, she is Nikki from Tinder. She is back for her fourth appearance as we approach a milestone episode here at the podcast. I think I would call her delightfully combative. I think is a good way to describe Nikki from Tinder. I think y'all are going to enjoy this one. But first, I got to remind you that the Naked Comedy shows, they are back at Hacienda this Friday. We've got 8 and 10 o'clock shows. Both shows are almost sold out. As of my recording of this. So you want to go get your tickets ASAP. For one night a month, an orgy basement in Bushwick is Brooklyn's biggest comedy club. You don't want to miss it for some jokes and genitalia. Ticket link for that in the show notes. Also in the show notes, you can get your tickets for Impact, a night of kink and comedy on August 5th. All the stand-up comedians are going to do their almost normal sets in front of a prolonged BDSM scene conducted by the delicious Dorian Dreadful, a local burlesque performer and dominatrix. You're not going to want to miss this one. Ticket link again in the schnotes. Impact is part of Man Whore Con weekend, which is also next weekend, August 3rd through August 6th. So if you don't got plans, you want to meet some fellow whoreheads, you want to have a curated weekend of fun, go get your weekend pass today. You know where that link is? Not so deep in them schnotes. Like when you're fingering someone, you go too deep and there's like a little more shallower. There's the G-spot. There's the Man Whore Con ticket link. Yes. Slight caveat, by the way, a ticket to Impact is included in your weekend pass to Man Whore Con. No need to double pay. Now, before I get to this week's guest, Nikki from Tinder, let's do a quick fan whore appreciation moment. The best way to support the Man Whore Podcast and the work that I'm doing is on Patreon. Patreon has been a godsend to independent content creators everywhere, including myself. And I always like to take a brief moment to thank a whorehead who supported the show with their dollars. So I want to say a big thank you to Dana Nakazi. I hope you are enjoying your peek into the Peep Show. It's a fun, sexy place, ain't it? And to be a member of the Peep Show, you gotta be on the Patreon. Become a member today, support the pod you love, share dick pics with strangers at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast, or download the Patreon app and find me on there. Now for this week's guest, Nikki from Tinder. She's back, appearance number 4. She was the very first episode on the show. Her second episode is somewhere in the 30s, and her third appearance was episode 75. I drove out to Jersey to catch up with this real one of the realest guests I've had on. She really does not mind telling it to me straight. I am sure you will all enjoy that. Certainly more than I did. Let's go catch up on episode 498 with Nikki from Tinder, who is no longer on Tinder. It's not often that a champagne room comment can also double as an ad read, but Elizabeth K has managed to do so. She wrote in our episode discussion channel, "Last year, I was with a sexy, occasional lover of mine. We were in bed enjoying a delicious makeout session, and he was fingering me. Ooh, Elizabeth. Whatever he was doing felt absolutely remarkable. I gave him all the indications of my pleasure with my body language and audible moans. I don't know what he did, but he told me he learned it on Beducated.com. Elizabeth, thank you for sharing how valuable Beducated's courses can be to impressing someone in the bedroom. Yes, our sponsor this week is Beducated.com. It's like educated, but with a B, because it's, bedroom stuff. Beducated.com has over 100 courses and is always adding more skills, tips, tricks, communication strategies, and more to their expansive library. I've used Beducated. I've had lovers use Beducated. Listeners have used Beducated, and apparently listeners' lovers have used Beducated. So why aren't you trying to learn something new? I don't know. I don't really understand the delay on your part, but I'll try to make it easier for you. Beducated is offering Man Whore Podcast listeners 50% off an annual membership. Yes. Whether you want to learn tips for new relationship models, you want to learn tricks that you can use on a lover in bed, Beducated.com has got video courses for you. Again, go to the link in the schnotes to enjoy 50% off an annual membership. Get in them schnotes. Get all up in them schnotes. Sign up for that annual membership. Get Beducated today. She's single and dating on Tinder?
No. God, no. No.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. Hinge and Bumble mostly. I think that actually after our second episode was when Bumble launched in December of 2014.
Okay.
Which is really weird because we had just talked about, I just asked you, what do you think about women who approach men first? And it was like a mind-blowing concept, basically. And you were like, yeah, I feel like people should just approach people first. And then it just turned into Bumble was literally, that's their platform. It had just launched after we had that discussion.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I'm a big fan of the approach me.
Yeah.
I want to feel pretty. I want to be proposed to.
I want to feel pretty. Yeah.
Yes, I want to feel pretty.
Especially
now, I feel like my unprettiest. I want to feel pretty.
I mean, I get it because white men age spoiled like milk. So they do.
Okay, so she's single.
She's single. She's very single. She generally keeps a roster of about 4 or 5 people at once.
Wow.
There's regulars and then there's rotating cast of people. So I'd say 5 at max, maybe 3 consistently. So I always try to keep a couple people in the rotation just to keep things interesting. And because I am on a constant hunt for authenticity and I feel like I have yet to find that. And I also don't want to I don't know. I feel like with dating recently, it's just been kind of shitty on the whole. So I really want to take my time, still have my fun, explore myself sexually with a bunch of people, but then also eventually find the person, although my views on partnership and what I wanted for myself have drastically changed over the last 10 years, basically.
How dare you change?
I know, right?
I hate growth and change.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I don't want anyone to evolve or devolve. I want everything.
I want you to remain the same way that I pictured you the first time that I ever met you.
Yeah, look, 10 years later, are you upset that this did not work out? Are you just
No.
has your life been less fulfilling and satisfying without me as a romantic partner?
I mean, it's been great. So I'll just.
But how much greater could it have been?
I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to answer that.
How dare you? No, you must. You must bring the.
I'm not going to flatter you.
Why? By like insulting me?
Or just placating.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you think? I'm like a degradation slut?
I mean, I don't know. These days, I don't know.
Not my thing. I cry enough without being called mean names. I do just fine with that.
Is your moon sign? Is it like a water sign?
Look at me right now.
I'm just
no. Hold
asking.
on. Just look. Take me in. Look at everything I'm wearing. Just does it look like I know what a moon sign is?
No, but you look like you fuck enough girls who would know.
That is true.
So
I do not know it. I just know I'm a Gemini.
oh man.
And I don't ascribe any value to that.
Okay. As a Leo, that explains my reaction. Let's continue.
Nikki from Tinder. You know, that's how like it's referred to. Like they always say the full thing. If a listener refers to you, they always go Nikki from Tinder.
Oh my God.
That's it.
What did I do now?
No one ever says Nikki.
Oh,
if someone says Nikki, it's like, who do you
You're
mean?
like, who? Which
it's like
one?
Nikki from Tinder.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
I've met other like Nicoles from Tinder,
Yeah.
but you are Nikki from Tinder.
Of course. That's how I shall forever be solidified in this space.
In this very,
Yeah.
very, very small universe.
In this microcosm.
In this very small, slutty universe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
been created online. So you re-listened to your first couple of appearances?
I did. The first two I listened to.
And you were just like, I missed out on gold. This guy could have been something. And, you know, with my encouragement as a girlfriend behind him who knows what kind of heights he could have achieved. And
I think that of most people that I've dated that it doesn't go anywhere anyway. I think pretty highly of myself.
you do think highly of yourself.
I do.
Whether you should or not, I always saw that in you. I was always like, she thinks very highly of herself.
I know, but now I think that it's more grounded in a realistic sense of self. I think that a lot of the time that you were more familiar with me, your listeners might have been more familiar with me. I was a young, very insecure person. Mm-hmm. And through many years of therapy, many years of self-discovery, many years of sexual exploration, many years of developing this sense of self and growth and change. You know, I understand that a lot of my confidence was definitely rooted in, it was like masking the insecurity that I had. And I think that now I'm just confident because I own my shit and I know exactly who the fuck I am. And I feel like I feel so much better about that. It's just like so much more peaceful to be that way.
Well, I guess I would also ask, because this kind of goes in the realm of like whether or not you get nervous or not, but do you still giggle when you give blowjobs?
I do, but mostly because I'm having a great time, and that's what it is. And I do, you know, I will tell you this, Billy. You actually traumatized me with that.
Oh.
I'm being completely dead serious. I'm being dead serious because there's been a few times where multiple times I've gone down on guys and either they've asked me like, what's funny? Or I preface like by saying, I might laugh a little, but it's because I'm enjoying myself. So I feel like I need to give them the heads up because I don't want them to think I'm laughing at their situation. But I'm deeply traumatized by that. Every single time I suck a dick, it haunts me. So thank you so much for that.
How did I respond when it happened?
You didn't say anything in the moment. I think that you kind of layered that into the nacho dip of excuses as to why you didn't want to see me anymore.
The nacho dip of excuses.
Yeah, like the 7-layer dip. And I was kind of like, you peppered that in and I was like, that's a big deal. Like, but for me, it's because I really do enjoy, I mean, let's say it straight. I love sucking dick.
Okay.
I mean, off the record, favorite thing to do. I could do it for.
I just wanted to. You're very on the record.
Very on the. I mean, I know I'm on the record right now. I know, but it feels like I'm off because it's just the two of us in my living room. But, it's my favorite thing to do, honestly, and I could do it for a long, long time. And when I'm enjoying myself, sometimes there's a giggle that comes out. Generally, in the beginning, and that's just that answers the question, I think. So we're gonna cap that with that. Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah.
Proud of you on that.
And people seem to like it. They think it's cute.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It happens sometimes.
I'm glad you have like a steady roster of people who enjoy that. Me at 23 or 24 years old, apparently couldn't.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's all about the attitude, right? And I think that
I'm very okay with the giggling now, by the way.
well, that's good to know.
Now I'm like,
Great.
yeah.
All right. Well,
You're not the only one changing around here.
wow, look at that.
Yeah.
It's called evolution. It's called evolution. So I'll say this, like, I think that it's the enthusiasm, because every guy that I've hooked up with has been like, yo, brain game is sloppy toppy. Like, they are absolutely into the head game. They think that I've had as recently as about 2 nights ago, the guy I was hooking up with was like, this is the best blowjob I've ever gotten. And I was like, I mean, which made me feel great, because his dick was massive. And I was like, oh, wow. All right. Like, first, it was a PR for me. It was a new personal best.
Okay.
He definitely breaks the record for biggest dick that I've ever had. So I was like, all right, look at that. Just making strides. Love that for me. But I think that what it is the enthusiasm and the kind of like performance. And I think that I'm never like putting on a show, but I think because I love it so much, it's so palpable that I'm enjoying myself. And the guys get really into it because they're like, oh my God, you fucking, first of all, you know what you're doing. Second of all, you're loving this. And I'm like, you bet. Slapstick across my face. You know, very into it. Very into it.
I mean, I'm just surprised how well you're enunciating all your vowels after sucking such a big dick. I would think your jaw would be a little bit more sore and tired just a mere 2 days later.
Yeah, well, you know, I do a lot of my broadcasting education comes in handy for that.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so we both like have reviewed the earlier appearances.
Yeah.
What have you thought from? Now you only listened to the first 2, right?
I only listened to the first 2, so I don't remember much of the third.
I just like started. I'm like halfway through the third.
Okay.
Enough to be like, Billy, I can't stand me listening to these.
Oh, I thought it was fine. I mean,
No, I can't. Me, not you.
No, I know. I didn't know if you were asking me if like I couldn't stand listening to myself.
No. I'm just like,
you couldn't stand you.
Correct.
I mean, I couldn't stand you either.
Right. I could hear
Here
it.
we are.
In retrospect, I'm like, oh, she's like very annoyed how much I'm interrupting her right now, with nothing funny.
Yeah, I mean, I also noticed I interrupted a lot too, but I think it was like we were in a flow. So, but I will say, having listened to those first 2 episodes, the notes that I wrote down, because I did write notes. 2014, I was a baby. I mean, I was 23 going into 24. And like I was saying to you, you know, there's so much that still resonates with me a lot and stuff that doesn't. I feel like one of the bigger takeaways is like after the first episode, like, you know, being like, well, if we're already hooking up, like, why don't you just fuck me? And I feel like that definitely falls out of line with my current views on consent and attraction, obviously. I think maybe I thought that, well, if I'm already there, I might as well finish the job, right? And I think I felt the same way back then. But it was also, again, an insecurity thing, because you're kind of like, why don't you choose me? Like, if you don't want to be with me, why can't you just fuck me? And I think that that's obviously not the right way to go about things as a 32 going on 33-year-old person. So that's one thing I definitely don't align with. But I think for the most part, and the other thing is I definitely masturbate a lot. Like I used to remember in my previous episodes, I was like, I don't really feel like I need to. And I'm like, no, I do, like all the time. Like,
were you lying then or just now?
No, I wasn't lying.
Okay. So
I wasn't lying.
You just started ramping it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
A lot of the reason for that was just the fact that I felt like I needed to like explore myself more to better direct someone else as to what like gets me going. But also I really enjoy toy partner play. So I really enjoy like utilizing toys together in the bedroom.
What do you like to use?
I mean, mostly vibrators.
Yeah, but like how? What kind? What types?
How?
Like,
I like to be blindfolded, and I just like them to like do whatever they want. I like the kind of torture aspect of it.
Okay.
And not being able, not being able to use my hands, because I'm super sensitive. So I feel like they're like, especially like in the nipples, like it's like it can be really crazy for me. So I think like what I like is to allow them to kind of drive. Or sometimes like I'll have my partner like hold the vibrator and I'll I'll get off, but I'll have them like suck in my tits.
Okay.
So it's like we kind of work together in that. And I think that like toys are an enhancement. And I met a lot of guys that are against using toys because they're like, well, why are you going to use that thing? Because my dick can't do the job. And I'm like, that's not the point.
But also, yes.
But also, yes. But it's not the point.
Yeah.
But it's not the point.
It's not the point.
It's not the point.
But yes.
But also, yes. But it's not the point. So yeah. So there's that. I definitely I've upped my purchasing game. Like I have a lot more of a variety of toys now. I'm trying to see how I can best like squirt, because I did have a partner that I was like friends with benefits with. So I guess not really a partner. Someone that I was sleeping with for a good, probably about a year or so. And he was able to make me squirt manually for the first time last year.
Okay.
So I didn't even know it was possible.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. And there was one time that we did it 8 times in a row. So I mean, the whole bed in there was soaked, and I was like, I don't think that we can sleep in here. We pulled out this couch. It was so wet.
So you're a big like a projectile squirter.
It's a lot of volume.
Okay.
It's not that it shoots out. It's just a lot of volume. So it became, So anyway, point being, I was like, I got to figure out how I can do that so I can teach someone else, because we're no longer sleeping together.
Sure.
So I can like be like, how can I best describe what you should be doing? Because I really didn't pay attention, and that was my deficit. So.
Have you been able to figure it out yet?
Not yet. I'm also waiting for my G-spot thing to come in.
What'd you order?
I ordered 2. I ordered a G-spot vibrator and then like a glass dildo.
The glass dildo
Yeah.
will do it.
Yeah.
That's the move.
That's what I'm hearing. So yeah, I just want to like see, and that's just my exploration and like seeing what I can do to like better guide a partner, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that changed since I was 23, 24.
Okay. What else is in the notebook?
Oh, let's see. I didn't realize how polarizing you made me sound. Like you're
Sorry,
like,
that I made you sound?
yeah, you're like, people either love you or they hate you, and I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Like,
I don't know. I was a dumb 25-year-old with a microphone.
yeah, I didn't know who was talking about me. Like, you made it seem like I was a very polarizing person, and I was like, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty neutral. I can understand like, you know, points of contention, but I was like, I don't want it to be seen as me being like a very problematic person either.
Well, let me put it this way: like your second appearance is like in the 30s, like episode 30 something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The show been going on 6 months. The show fucking didn't like polarizing, like they love you or hate you. It's probably like 3 people over here. Not that was the whole audience, but like of the people who would then engage and tell me, it's probably like 3 people here, 4 people there.
I didn't know that.
I know, but yeah, but like I think I was like trying to make it seem like
you were
bigger than it was.
sensationalizing. You were
Yeah.
sensationalizing.
Well, like I don't know. I feel like people say like sometimes success can follow a hype. So like you go like, oh, I don't know. You know, you get limited engagement with a podcast in the first place,
Yeah.
even if you have a lot of listeners. And at the time, the show was so new, it didn't have many listeners. It was like I think at the time it was like a couple hundred downloads an episode. So it was like not a lot.
Yeah.
So when it was like they love you or hate you, it's like we're talking about people we could all fit in this living room.
I didn't know that. So I was getting a little self-conscious. I was like, oh God, now what did I say in the 3rd episode? Because now I'm afraid that I really said some fucked up shit. And I'm like,
Nothing terribly fucked up. You didn't say anything like too fucked up. It was just me trying to like push buttons. Also, because I know like you seem very open to honestly. You seem fine being combative with me, honestly, in like a playful to serious way, but like in a way you think is entertaining.
then I think there was an asterisk there. You switched it from no to think.
That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. You'll push back. Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose just now?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I think I was just there was a fun tension and chemistry to play with. But at 25, I was much more of a shit kicker, I think, than I am now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm too tired.
I know.
I'm getting old.
I know.
Well, also, like, I don't know, like, well, like, what do I come back and talk to Nikki from Tinder about? Is there a moment in the past week where you thought, like, what if I sit down with Billy and, like, I find myself interested?
No. Sorry.
It's okay.
You look... Your face is so awkward right now.
What's my face right now? Have you thought that ever since you were last on the show?
No.
No.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever thought that since the one date we had?
I don't know. Have you? Why are you asking me?
When I forget if it, did you just have like a crazy good photo shoot that was like black and white?
Oh, that one in the bed? The bed. Yeah, that was a couple months ago.
That was a couple months ago?
Yeah.
There was like, you went through some sort of shift, whatever many years ago, it was pre-COVID. And there was one time where I was like, Nikki looks good. Should I ask Nikki out?
Yeah, well, I was also like in the thick of my eating disorder, so thanks.
Oh, well, congrats. I was trying to like tap back in the mind recently. It didn't work. Eating disorders, I miss having the wherewithal I had in high school to execute an eating disorder. Can't do it now.
It's, that's the thing that I think about too, is that this is like flows into the insecurity thing, because obviously like I'm confident, but I do have some insecurities. A lot of them come from that point in my life where it was pre-COVID and I was like working out like a fiend and I was like watching what I'm eating. I definitely had orthorexia undiagnosed. Like it was like very bad. Not enjoying myself. And like I had, a lot of support in that through friends and family validation. You look great, do. Now I'm at a point where I'm slowly like tipping the scales towards being more confident about my size, which really isn't like problematic for my health. Like it's just a larger body than I'm used to being in, but it's also stronger than it's ever been. And my ass doesn't quit. And that's amazing because that's like so in, which I love. And like the guys are so into it, and I don't do it for them. I do it for myself. I look at my ass sometimes and I go, girl, what are you feeding that thing? And congratulations. Like I do love it. And I'm starting to like really love and accept the fact that like everything about having a fat ass means like you're going to have a little bit more meat on the thighs. You're going to have a little bit more meat elsewhere. And I feel like that's really like, that's where I'm getting more comfortable with that. But I do have reservations sometimes that I feel like maybe some guys won't think that I'm as attractive as I was when I was like, restrictively eating. Even though I exercise literally 5 to 6 days a week, like I'm still very healthy, and very active. But I feel like in the back of my mind, sometimes when things don't work out with someone, I go like, is it because I am heavier than I used to be?
See, like I wasn't worried about that with my last ex, but now that I'm not with her, I am like, and not Miss Giggles, my most recent ex. Now I'm like, also I'm like the heaviest I've ever been in my life, and I am worried about like my future prospects. So I was like, oh, with her, I felt the sexiest I've ever been. And she like made me feel sexy and this, that, and the other thing. And now all of a sudden I'm like, shit, but maybe that was because she loved me. And I don't know if these other chicks are going to forgive X and Y and Z because they're like, well, I don't love this man.
It might not even be about forgiveness. I think it's just like what they're attracted to, because there have been plenty of men that I've dated more recently that either casually or otherwise that have loved every single curve that I have going and the soft tummy and whatever. And they're just kind of like, first of all, you're strong as hell, you're sexy as hell, and you're thick. And I'm like, I love that.
Some people like the thickness.
Some people love that.
I've never heard of a chick being into a bald spot.
No.
Into bald, sure, but never that, right? So it's
spot.
Like, yeah, that's where I go like, okay, that's a forgiveness thing. That's someone looking at it and that be like, yeah, but the rest of him's cute.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm being sincere about this, is that there are certain things that I think we all do overlook if we like the person enough. You don't have to love them.
Right.
Honestly, I think that if you understand who the person is at the core and you really like that about them, and the rest of them is also cute, and maybe they got like, a nice dick, whatever, make you feel good, make you feel appreciated. Like there are certain things I'm willing to overlook. And I think that should be the case, but a lot of people are very highly superficial, and that's completely fine. Like,
see, I want the things that people overlook about me to be my personality. I would like to be cute enough that they will overlook the personality and not vice versa. But as I age, I'm realizing that's going to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah. So there was that whole aspect of things. But yeah, I'm sorry to report that it never crossed my mind whether or not there would be a thing, a spark, whatever. I'm sorry.
No, you weren't kept up at night with terrifying nightmares of like, fuck, what if I'm into Precita? Oh no.
No. Terrifying nightmares.
Yeah, it's like, what do I do with my life at that point? What could I what could be different about me now that would make you interested?
I don't know. Throw the whole thing away and start from scratch.
Okay, let's build it back up. I can't change certain genetics. Don't pretend you were never attracted to me.
Of course I was, but it was 10 years ago.
Right. So like now, what could be different now that would?
I mean, I don't know. You put me on the
Amanda,
spot.
just me. I know.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the point of the question.
You know, I just don't. I don't know. It's like you've got a lot of like the look that I like in a particular way. Your stature, right? The forearms, very good forearms.
What's up with my forearms?
Okay, this is one of my. I'm just gonna like tangential for a second, but on my Hinge profile, my voice prompt is about I'm weirdly attracted to, and most guys are like, nice hair, which is like not a weird thing to be attracted to. Right. So I use my voice prompt to say like, I am very attracted to people who have body hair, especially and I love like guys with like a nice forearm. Okay. Like I like a nice beefy forearm. Okay. For whatever reason, I'm like very attracted to forearms. It's a weird.
Body hair.
I mean, yes, and body hair. So, I mean, I like more than that though. There's a lot. Yeah. I like a thick nest of hair. Oh. And I do. I like, oh my God. Something about it gets me going. But yeah, mostly body hair, but also like I want a strong forearm. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I like to grip it like during sex. But anyway.
I would think it's because to finger you till you squirt requires a lot of forearm strength.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. I mean, it absolutely, that, I'm just
does get tiring if you don't know to incorporate the shoulder muscle into it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a laundry list of things. I think that like, for one, I've also like sworn off comedians, I have to say. Like I've done enough of that.
Wait, have you though?
Yeah.
Like who?
I'm not naming names.
What?
I'm not naming names.
Would you name if I beep it?
No.
Would you tell me off mic?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know. Regardless.
Wait, you were saying something about like my physical stature is like something you're attracted to.
No, I think I'm saying your height for sure. I think your build is really like, it's ideal for me. As because I don't want like a wafy kind of a guy. Like personally, I'm not into. I used to be into like scrawny emo boys when I was in high school. Like the scarecrow looking guys that could play guitar really well. Or like and I do like I love like
and their band, the Counting Crows. Okay.
Wow, that was horrible.
You've never thought it was funny, so it's fine.
and I do love like a more substantial stature. Mm-hmm.
What is substantial? Is that a way of saying chubby? Is that
no? I don't think you're chubby. I mean, maybe if you have extra, I can't see it, but like you look solid. Like you look like a solid person. Like
I could help with your air conditioner. Like I could lift your air conditioner.
Yeah, or me,
or you,
or me.
Okay,
either way. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not. I'm sorry.
So physically it's there, but so then personality wise, what's out of whack?
I don't know. I think everything from the. I'm sorry, this is gonna be really mean, but from the neck down is a yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Keep going.
It's not the same for me. It's not the same. I'm not attracted to that look anymore.
Your
look. I
What's
guess.
my look?
I don't know.
Come on.
You look like if what the fuck's his name? If Elijah Wood had a receding hairline.
Wow. Okay.
I don't want you to go deep on me, and that's why I didn't want to say it. I'm so sorry. I'm also like I don't know. I'm very much more of an empathetic person at this point. Whereas I do want to be mean to you, I also like don't want to hurt your feelings. Sure. Like, so that's where I'm at. Like I'm kind of like towing the line between.
What about personality wise?
It's a no for me, dog.
No. But like, what could be changed?
I don't know. I think that you tend to nag and like to push buttons, and sometimes I can't draw the line between whether or not that's like actually what you're saying, or like the lines get blurred for me, and I don't like to be poked fun at too much in my relationships. I think I like to have a balance of good banter and good like chuckle, rib tickles, like let's poke them a little bit. And it's nice to have that like back and forth, but I feel like you would do it too much for me, that I would start to feel insecure, and I would tell you that I was feeling insecure, and you'd be like, well, okay, that's not what I meant. And you would gaslight the shit out of me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, I've got a Patreon-only channel in my Discord server, the Champagne Room. It's called Ask the Guest. Listeners, if you are a Patreon member, you can ask any question of my guest, and I will ask it. So if it's a bad question, it wasn't my idea, and if it's a really good question, I really wish it was mine.
Okay.
Someone with the username JJ and a lot of sevens. I don't know how many sevens that is. Don't know why there are that many sevens. But he wants to know, did you ever, and this is under our, this is from, I think, our second or third episode.
Oh my God, that photo. We were children.
Children. No receding hairline there.
Oh my God. Wow.
Thin hair up top, but like the hairline, I guess, was fine.
I think I still have that outfit.
Yeah, probably.
I think I do.
It's very you.
That cape is in my closet somewhere. Yeah.
Jay Sevens wants to know, did you ever expect Billy would get to 500 episodes?
I did. You know what I did? If I'm being honest.
You're like, he's stubborn enough to not quit no matter how many people tell him it's not that great.
Yeah, that and you don't shut the fuck up and you like to hear yourself talk. So yes, I did. I expected you would get as far as you did. I didn't know if you'd run out of guests. I didn't know if I'd be, instead of a 3-peat or a 4-peat, I'd be like a 7-peat. I'm like, which is fine because I don't shut up either.
Sure.
But no, I did. I expected that you would get pretty far with it. I had an inkling that like it was something that you enjoyed doing and you wanted to keep it up. And it's a good like forum. So I will say honestly, yes.
And I mean, and again, now this is difficult for you to ask because like we have not been like tight or super close outside of like Facebook. But he also wanted to know, is there anything different about Billy now than when you first met him that you can ascertain in this limited, roughly 50 minutes of reconnecting?
I don't, you seem definitely a little more chill and you're definitely less nervous, which is nice. I think you kind of understand. You got the ropes now. You're not just kind of stumbling through this as an experiment of like what I can do to change. Maybe I'll learn something about myself. I feel like now it's more, it's palpable that you've been doing it for so long and that like you feel very confident in like what you're producing. And, you just come across as like a very much more like with it kind of individual from my limited interactions with you over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So, and you're very like, you're much more open and accepting than I thought that you would be, I think for our situation. And the fact that you still want to contact me is pretty cool. So I think that like, I could come to you with a serious inquiry and you wouldn't like laugh at me. Whereas, opposed to the past, I feel like you would be like, this fucking.
And then Chuck wants to know, do you ever mention to the people in your life? I mean, I know the answer to this, but you can maybe expound upon it. But yeah. Do you ever mention to the people in your life that you've been on the show?
Yeah, I have. I've mentioned to a couple people, not anybody recently that I've dated, but past relationships, I did talk about it and I encourage them to listen.
And then you come back and be like, so you want a gangbang?
They did enjoy the episodes. But I think that it didn't really lend to, they thought, they're like, wow, you're very different now. And I'm like, yeah, yes, I am. So I think that it was just like a good blast from the past for them to enjoy, but I have mentioned it. I'm on the fence about how I want to mention it moving forward, honestly.
Do tell.
Because in my professional capacity now, like I work at a publicly traded company.
Okay. And
as sex positive as I am, I don't want to there are certain things that I think that I would promote for myself that make sense. And I feel like this would be a private promotion.
Yeah.
This would be like, I don't want to.
I mean, I never expect the ex hookups or anyone like that to be like tweeting about it.
No, but
as much as I'd want them to.
I would tell people when this comes out, I will tell my neighbor friends in the group chat. I will tell incel. I will tell everyone.
You're going to tell incel.
You can beep his name.
I'm just saying, but like, wait, he's not going to realize that that's him?
I mean, I've already told him that he talks like an incel this week, so he kind of knows.
Gotcha.
He knows how I feel about him.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty open about it, but...
Will you fuck incel?
No, I will not.
There's nothing... What could change about him?
He needs to get his jaw realigned and he needs to go to therapy.
Jesus Christ. On the physical call out.
But listen, I mean, it is a personal preference. He's got like a weird underbite that I don't know. I feel weird about it.
And I'll amend his second question just because you kind of.
I'm sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. Have you come across the podcast like in the wild? like someone mentioned the podcast and then you were like, oh, I've been on that?
I didn't mention to them that that I'd been on it, but I did see what's her name? You're gonna have to edit this out because I don't. Is her name Andrea? She's a comedian. Yeah. I follow her.
Okay.
And she was on it, and I
She's
was like,
been on it a lot.
and I was like, I was on it. Yeah.
Not to her.
Not to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no. In short, I have not met someone in nature. Well, I do like to ask men on dates if they listen to podcasts, and then I like to look at their queue.
And are you
see.
judging?
I mean,
should.
If there's Ben Shapiro, then absolutely, I'm judging. But like, if they don't listen to the Man Whore podcast, obviously, which I'm gonna have to recommend. But because I'm a huge podcaster.
What are red flag
myself.
podcasts for someone to have in their queue? Ben Shapiro, obviously.
Ben Shapiro, obviously. I don't know, like definitely Joe Rogan for me. And I know that that's like blanket and very like basic to say, but the Scottish guy I dated was a big Joe Rogan fan. And he's like, Joe Rogan. And I'm just like,
Joe Rogan.
The only thing
you just gotta love the way he says the name.
Basically, I like the only thing I align with Joe Rogan on is the sensory deprivation tanks, because that shit is fucking fire. I love those things. Okay. Everything else, I'm like, I know that some people see him as more of like a you know, he kind of sees both sides of everything, and I'm like, I just can't with him.
It's weird. I see both sides of stuff. One side oftentimes sucks, so I like.
So I don't align with it.
Yeah, seeing both sides doesn't mean you agree with both sides. It means you see them both, and then you analyze from there.
Yeah, but I feel like he takes the road that we don't want to travel.
Yeah, he takes the road of like, I'm gonna do no pushback. He's always like 2-ish questions away from having a semi-responsible interview,
right?
But instead,
responsible discourse, and instead he goes, "Not gonna do that.
Just keep going. Why not? Fact check what?
Sail away. Just say whatever the fuck you want." So yeah, that's the answer to the question.
What are your favorite podcasts besides this one?
Oh, wait, hold on. I can tell you. Well, I'm like, I have so many. I was actually listening to The Basement Yard before you came, which I really like, but in my queue, because I just think that they're really fucking hilarious. But I start my day with New York Times Daily and NPR Up First, because I'm a very well-read bitch, and I love to know about the news. But I like Radio Lab with Sean Pop, like all these music podcasts. ICYMI, pop culture podcast. I do listen to The Bald and the Beautiful, Katya and Trixie Mattel, Finding Mr. Height. That's a dating podcast I like to listen to. You're Wrong About, Disgraceland. Yeah. And then there's also food shit. So there's like Ringer Food, Recipe Club. I listen to You Up, and Modern Love and Diet Starts Tomorrow. And I just started listening to I've Had It. So that's like some of what is in my rotation throughout the week. I
just learned all your favorite podcasts. Are we on a date?
Oh my God.
Are we on a second date? You want to do one date per decade?
per decade. So I'll see you again when I'm 40, 42.
Yeah. I'll eat you out on that one. That's when we'll do that.
You'd be lucky if I let you.
Oh, really now?
You know what's really funny? The guy that I hooked up with 2 days ago, whatever. The one with the big dick. I got a really great compliment from him that I wasn't expecting. So he was fucking me from behind over there, and since I'm a short girl, and he was very tall, excess of 6 feet, I was on the bed and he was standing up, and as we were doing it, he's kind of like, "You are so fun to fuck from behind," and I was like, "Thank you." Like, I didn't know what to say.
I mean, like, probably, yeah.
I was like, "I love that." And I was like, "What about it?" And he's like, "You're just like, you get into it." And like, it's the dirty talk. It's the you slamming your ass back. It's you like being like, grab my arms. It's you doing this, you doing that. And I'm like, awesome. I love that.
You're doing the dirty talk?
Yeah.
Oh.
We both are a lot of the times. I like a very light degradation.
Okay.
I like enough degradation where it doesn't feel like a real insult.
No, but you just want to be a filthy slut.
Oh, absolutely. I want to be a cum slut. I want someone to come all over my face. And I want you to know that I want that. And I want you to see it. And I want you to hear it. And I'm very much like,
You see, if I just came on your face, then I would have not been accused of giving you oral gonorrhea. How long can I harp on one blowjob? I'm almost at the expiration limit.
Literally the only one.
And
I've gotten so much better since then. But again, you'd be lucky. I'm sorry. Now, speaking of...
She says, right, like, what? She says a few weeks before I release episode 500 and show her off.
Oh no.
Episode 500, I go down on 5 different women, and then I leave the room, and then they give a review to my friend.
Okay, I will definitely be listening to that.
Yeah, if you want to potentially hear someone insult me, or everyone fucking praise me, wait to tune in, everybody.
I feel like it's going to be a 50-50 split. Well, what I did want to tell you, do we have time to talk about one of these? Okay, cool. So there's a couple things. So we want to talk about... let's see. So I masturbated with a curling wand the other night.
Wait, are you doing a set right now?
No.
Because that's like the beginning of a bit.
No, it's called being resourceful. And think about the cavemen. They made tools.
Okay.
I just found a tool and had an alternate application for it. So there was a guy that I matched with on Hinge, I think. And we immediately just started going into a conversation that led into like him loving the prompt about the hair. He's like, I'm a very hairy man. And he's like, do you want to see? And I'm like, not particularly, because I wasn't really looking for a hookup out of this. But then as it went on, I was kind of like, well, clearly you want to show me your chest hair. So fucking by all means, show it to me. So he sends me a picture and I'm like, oh yeah, that's hot. And I'm on a New Jersey Transit train I'm dressed for a wedding. I'm going to a church.
Right.
And he's like trying to be like, oh, that's so hot. I've never sent anybody a photo like that before. I'm like, of your chest? Like, okay. So I'm like, amateur hour. So then we start having this conversation. We're going back and forth. And he's like, I kind of like that, like, I'm sending you these things. Like, do you want to see anything else? And I was like, fuck it. Why not? I'm bored. I got another hour on this train. So I was like, yeah, sure. Send me a picture of your dick or whatever. So we exchanged Snapchats, which I barely even use. But he's like, I figured he would want it for the privacy. So he's sending me shit and then I'm telling him what to do. And now I'm playing like light dom on Snapchat.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're going to masturbate and then you're going to like jack yourself off. And then like right when you're about to come, I want you to stop. And I kept trying to edge him. And I was like, you're going to have to show me that you stopped though. So he would take a video and he would like show me his hand going like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of hot actually. And he was really hot. So we kept like playing that game and he's like, can I call you mistress? And I was like, I mean, if you want to, like, sure, by all means. Mistress eventually turned into mommy somehow.
Okay.
Which I'm like, I don't hate. Something about it is weird for me because I call my mom mommy. So it's like, psychological thing. But I was kind of like into it. I was like, yeah, you mommy's good boy. Like, very like got into the role. Went to the wedding, went to church, by the way. Did the wedding at the end of the night. Like I was kind of like, all right, like I got nothing else to do. Like I'm going to bed. And I didn't have any of my toys with me because I was away. And we were like kind of chatting back and forth and he was sending me things and I was sending him things. And then before you knew it, I was like, I need to take care of this. And my hands are my arms are very short. So it's hard for me to like get up in there for myself. Mm-hmm. So I was like, and I'm like looking around the room, like, what can I use to fuck myself with? And I'm like, I couldn't find anything substantial except for the curling wand, which isn't a curling iron. It doesn't have the clip. It's just like, it looks like a sex toy.
Sure.
And I was like, fuck it, that's going to work. And it worked. So it can be done.
I just love how spontaneous that share was for you because you really wanted to share it. You just like went to the notebook, non sequitur. So I masturbated with a curling iron the other day, everybody.
I wrote it down because I thought you would appreciate it. And I also wrote down because I have a whole section here, new experiences / notable bedfellows. I mean, I'm gonna have to give you context on some of these.
New experience and notable bedfellows. Let's see. Scoring, we talked that.
Yeah.
Okay. Icelandic cock. Thor.
Yes.
Is that his real name?
His name is Thor.
Okay. Do I need to beep it?
No.
I'm kidding. Okay.
He's in Iceland. His name is Thor. You don't have to beep anything.
Wait, you don't think I got pull in Iceland?
How many Thors?
I don't know how many Thors, but I can look up downloads in Iceland. That'll be a task for me during the outro. All right, what's up with Icelandic cock?
I just wanted to tell you the story about when I went to Iceland for my birthday, 2021. And it was my first, I wanted to go for my 30th and then COVID shut shit down. So then I was like, I'll go for my 31st. And I flew to Iceland and my friend Lily was like, you should Bumble while you're out there. And I was like, no, what? I'm here to sightsee. I have tours in the morning, like being a, by the book kind of a person.
Sure.
And then I was like, you know what? It's going to be my birthday and I would love to like just meet someone and maybe like get drinks. So I did swipe on Thor, whose name is Thor. He was like, yeah, you want to meet at a Lebowski bar and we can go get drinks for your birthday. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I have my birthday dinner. I went to Blue Lagoon. I had like a whole day, went to meet him for drinks. We're having this like lovely time. He looks like a jacked Shia LaBeouf with blonde hair. And I was kind of like, I was digging it. We were having like pretty decent conversation, and then went to his apartment. He played me guitar and ordered a pineapple pizza from Domino's.
Oh, until you said Domino's.
Yeah, well, he said it's the best pizza in Iceland, and honestly, I don't disagree with him because it's the only pizza in Iceland.
Right.
I didn't eat any because two blasphemous things: pineapple pizza and Domino's. Can't do. So I'm like, you don't understand. You're talking to like a New Yorker here. Like you can't. And he's like, but it's so good. So he's
a New Jerseyan.
I was born in New York, asshole.
How long did you live in New York?
Collectively, about like 7 years.
Continue.
Thanks.
You're like, why does Billy want to keep having me on? Right there. That tension.
That's it.
Palpable.
That's it.
People listening, a third of them statistically turned on right now from that. They're like, oh my God, it sounds like mom and dad fighting again.
I love that. Oh my God. So he plays guitar for me. We do a little sing along. It's very cutesy. And then, he starts making out with me and we go back to his room and we fucked and it was pretty good. I slept over. He came over to my hotel the next night. We fucked again. He kept like losing it though. And I think that he was on SSRIs. So I think that that could have affected him. So he kept losing his erection, but I will say, for a travel hookup, it was a pretty good travel hookup. And it was one of the first that I had ever done, especially on a solo trip. Bold of me, because I could have been killed, obviously, but I wasn't. I'm here to tell the tale. And I fucked a guy named Thor, and I got Thor's hammer in Iceland. And I love that for me.
I love that for you too.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. You might have another question, but I do want to bring something up.
Oh, please.
I'm kind of being a young man's sex shaman.
Do tell.
Do you want to ask me a question first?
No, you already know what you want to say. I do not need
I do.
give you a question artificially for you. You already know what you want to say, so say it.
Well, it's one of the things I wanted to bring up because this is what this is about, right?
It is now.
So the reason that it's relevant.
Don't try to hold my hand. You just rejected me.
I didn't
keep
hold
going.
your hand.
No, she reached out. No, okay.
To my table to go like this.
Yeah.
To go like this. Very lightly to my table. So the reason that I think that it's most relevant is because I was 24 when we last spoke.
Right.
On record.
Okay.
Or no, was it? I was 26.
Doing this would have been summer of this would have been late 2015.
Got it. Well, the first episode I was 23.
Yeah.
24. I had my age preferences not set a deal breaker on the apps, and I got a 24-year-old kid in my DMs who looks like he fucks, and I was like, oh, he's really cute. So I'm like, all right, like I'll give this kid a shot. We had good banter, and do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know you don't need me to ask a question to tell this story, so I thought I'd get up to get water.
Oh, I could have gotten you water.
No. I want to hear about you.
I feel like a shit host now.
No, I want to hear about you being the sex shaman. And by here, I mean like I can literally put this mic down because I know you are ready to go.
Well, I'm giving you material. You can edit out whatever you want. But we're catching up. So he's a 24-year-old kid. He looks like he fucks. I was like, all right, like he's got big old forearms and he's hairy. And I was like, ooh, I'm into that. I was like, hell yeah. And he lives close by. So I was like, all right, like we had this great banter going back and forth. We role played as each other's assistants, like, and being like, hi, I'm looking for Shelly. This is Mr. Sean's assistant. And it was cute and, very juvenile in that way. And I think that I needed to be taken out of my more mature mindset of kind of like all those guys that go like, hey, what's up? You like scotch? Meh. Like, so I was cool with it. Right. So we make plans to meet up. And after this like long string of like 20 questions back and forth, and he's asking these very creative and fun questions, we're having a great banter. I was like, yeah, like we should get together. So I go to his apartment and we're laying around watching a show, and he had prefaced by saying like, hey, just when you come over, I don't want you to think that it's just to hook up. Like I generally don't have sex on the first date, but
I like this guy.
And I was like, hey, I love that you're being transparent about that. And
you're like, I've been trained for this moment. I've been through this before. I've learned the error of my ways.
That's right. So I'm like, if I had a nickel. So I go over and we're like watching reruns of Always Sunny, and he got me chips and salsa, and we're just like having wine and hanging out. And between commercials or whatever, because he has Hulu with ads because he's broke, we would like make out. And it got hot and heavy to the degree that like
Did you fuck during a Geico commercial?
We may or may not have, actually. But that you're skipping ahead. So the point is, I'm laying there with this kid, and he starts telling me like, hey, listen, like I feel comfortable with you. So I just want to let you know that like we can do stuff if you want, but like I have like a good amount of sexual trauma. And I was like, you do? He's like, yeah, well, like I only lost my virginity 2 years ago, and I've only had sex about 4 times, and it's all been bad. Like all of it's been bad. And I was like, please do tell. And he goes into detail about like these horrible experiences that he's had with these women. And most notably, the last one that he had before me was a couple months prior. And he was trying to like do a doggy style with a girl, and he couldn't find her vagina. And she got really pissed at him.
We've all been there.
And like he was fumbling around and she had to like get his dick in her hand and like,
yeah.
And I think that he like understood that it wasn't good, and she like kind of rolled her eyes at him. He's also super hung up on the size of his dick because it's not that big.
But like, what size is it?
It's not a micro penis. I mean,
but what, like, are we talking? Is this a extra small, medium, large, extra large?
He's like a four
or
4
5
incher.
inches.
Yeah,
okay. He's a 4 incher. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
He's not even 5, and he's like, I'm below average, and I'm like, but it's not just about your dick. Like, and I feel like knowing where he's at now in his sexual exploration, which is like not too deep in, obviously, I took pity on him in that moment, and I was kind of like, well, listen, like if you want to do anything with me, like I'm obviously very attracted to you, and if you need like guidance or whatever, like we can just maintain a casual sexual relationship. I trust you enough to like help you out. So he's like, I want to try doggy with you. And I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. So he gets back there and he finishes in like maybe 45 seconds. It was very quick. Which I don't really care so much. At that point, it wasn't about me, it was about him. But you would have thought this kid won the Super Bowl, because he stepped back and started like jumping around and like exhaling. He's like, whoo, oh my God. And like also while he was doing it, Billy, he's like, he literally went like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now I know why people like this so much. It feels so fucking good. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like he had a moment of self-discovery back there out loud. You just helped me achieve a sexual milestone. I can't thank you enough. And I was like, it's doggy style, bro. Like, but now looking back, I can understand from his point of view. So I'm helping this kid with his sexual exploration. There's things he wants to do. There's things he also wants to be dominant, right? So he's like, shut up and suck my dick. And I'm like, you don't talk to me like that. Mm-mm. You do not talk to me like that. He's like, what makes you think you're the boss? I'm like, first of all, I have the pussy. I make the rules. Second of all, you know what the fuck you're doing. You're technically a virgin still. So let me take the reins.
Yeah, you got to work up to that, man.
Right. I'm like, you can't have a 4-inch dick, be insecure about it, and then tell me what to do with it.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's not how that works.
Build you up to dominant.
I was like, no one promoted you. Like, you got to get there. So it's getting to the point now where it's like, it's not really fun. It's becoming not fun because he keeps getting so insecure about the size of it. And he keeps asking me questions. And he sent me a picture of Ewan McGregor's dick. And like, you know, it's like a picture this big from like 1997. He's like, do you think his dick is big or not? So it looks average to me. He's like, no, wrong. His dick is really big. He's known to have like one of the biggest dicks in Hollywood. I was like, sir, you got to sit down because this is not fun for me now. Like,
it starts becoming unattractive then.
Right. But now we're at the point where it's like, there's still things
I'm just looking up Ewan McGregor's dick. I'm not being rude.
Oh, I can show you the photo if I can find it. But essentially I was like, all right, like if I'm going to take this role as your sex shaman, you're going to have to listen to what the fuck I say. And I keep trying to be gentle with him about it too. And be like, listen, I know that this might feel this way. And like, I'm trying to guide him towards the fact that like not all sex is about penis. Like it's about the touching and the subtlety and like
it's
the
crazy
hands.
you're putting up with all this with him, but like you won't do a second date with me.
No, I won't. I'm sorry.
I'm not even that.
He has a mustache that I want to ride. I'm so sorry.
What do you think of, should I shave? Do I go clean shaven? Do I try a mustache? Do I let this be?
I don't know. Give the stash a try. Give it a try. I feel like you could pull it off. Just a stash. Like just a big, can you grow like a big beefy bushy stash?
I've never tried.
You should try.
It just feels so creepy to wear a mustache.
No, I mean now it's not creepy. Now, I mean nowadays it's definitely not creepy. Like the stash is in. Why
can't I find Ewan McGregor's penis?
Oh my gosh, this is going to be a point of contention. All right, hold on.
So difficult to find.
I'm going to find it.
You would think the internet would. Oh, safe search blurring is on? No, thank you.
Oh no, we don't need that. That's nonsense. Hold on.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, that's like
this.
It's meaty. It's the I didn't even see that one. I saw this one.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
We
have different pictures of Ewan McGregor's dick. I mean, either way, his bell end is intact. He is so uncut. I love that.
Yeah, it looks thick. It looks thick. It looks.
But I didn't see that in the photo I have, and he was fighting me on it. I was like, sir. I was like, I'm ready and willing and able to be a very patient and understanding kind of like, you know, let's walk you through the ropes with this. But you're going to chill with the like, my dick is a cocktail shrimp because I don't want to hear it. Right. I don't. If I didn't want to suck it, I wouldn't put up with it.
Right.
Okay. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, Nikki, thanks for coming back on the show.
You're welcome.
Thanks for doing it in the first place all that time ago because I was a bit of a dick in 2013 and 14 and probably also in 15 and maybe not necessarily to you but to some other people since. So you know, thanks for putting up with that and doing the show and being a really great first episode because, you know, 10 years later they still seem to want to listen.
Thank you for having me again. This is nice to be. I'm glad you asked me, like, you know, and I think it'll be cool to like, you know, cycle through the evolution of our weird relationship.
Yeah. Not leading you with this, but do you have any questions for me? It's okay if not.
Well, I already asked you if you like I reverse Uno'd you about like, you know, did you ever think that like was there ever a moment where you're like, oh, this could what would you
And then I was just like came back to that post. I was like, because I texted you or something after the black and white set a few months ago.
You did.
I hit you up after that. I was like,
great photos.
Don't know when they are. Look great.
Thank you.
And then again, there's whenever you were in your like eating disorder era, I was just, I guess apparently I caught wind of some photos that you dropped. And I was like, I think it looks good.
Thank you. I guess I would want to ask you, let's see. Well, when you came into this time, did you expect anything and did anything surprise you about our conversation?
What did I expect coming into this? I think I was really just, instead of like thinking about what I'm expecting, I was really just trying to be like, Billy, don't interrupt her as much this time. Like just fucking chill the fuck out. Like I know you don't have your medication right now, but just like fucking hold it in. I mean, well, because the expectation was simply for you to be like kind of a little mean to me, and you've done it.
And I delivered.
You, if anything, over exceeded.
Yeah.
You did it. Don't worry.
Sorry. Well, you asked me.
I did.
You literally asked.
I did ask. I knew that was a possibility. Don't be sorry. Own it.
All right. I will own it. I will. Just because you told me to. And then what else? Did I have another question? Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of me like now?
Your confidence sounds similar. But it seems like maybe it's coming from a more authentic place. I think something that stood out to me because it hasn't been 10 years since you've been on the show, but like it has been about 10 years since like that date. And something I did pick up on what you described, or I'm going to use this language because I forget what you called it, but like kind of a fake confidence, which isn't bad. People start sometimes with fake. I've started with fake confidence to turn into real confidence. And I felt like all those years ago, I could feel that off of you. And I think that played a role into like a lack of interest.
Got it.
Where it was like, I don't know that I think this is like a compensating confidence.
Yeah. You could smell that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad to hear that like it's coming from a more genuine place now. So.
Yeah. I'm very much like what you see is what you get with me. So.
Yeah, but like when I say sound, like orally, it all sounds the same.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I mean.
Like
now,
the way you're now, you sound the same 10 years ago.
but now I sound like I mean it.
It's like a little something where like this might be realer and it might not be compensating. Maybe she actually feels this way about herself.
I've grown into my ass, so that helps.
That does help. That does help. It does make doggy more fun. So when people were like, "Doggy with you is awesome," I was like, "Well, she described having a big ass," so I was like, "Then probably it's awesome."
Yeah, the cheeks are clapping.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, just what you thought of me.
Back to today?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, about the same, but like maybe a little more like sincere and authentic.
And I'll give you an opportunity now because I roasted you so hard. You can roast me if you want. You're not gonna.
I listened to those 3 episodes. I was enough of an ass. I'm good.
Oh, you're so kind.
I'm too. It's like I'm too tired. I'm too tired to rail on you. I feel like.
Okay.
And like I said, I was a dick.
It's a bit of a cop out, but I'll take it.
I'm not. I don't feel comfortable.
That's fine. You can tell me off mic.
Because my career involves at times making fun of myself or being made fun of, but like yours doesn't.
It doesn't.
Is grace that you're even here on this thing again, right? So it's like, why? I don't know. Even though you're asking for it, I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck around with that, because also like I do roast battles. Like I don't know my own strength. I don't know when I'm going to go too far. I don't know what the line is. So I'd rather not even approach it.
You'd probably hurt my feelings to a degree that I could not recover from. So,
which like 9 years ago, I probably would have relished and been like, okay, cool. Like, great. Right. She gave me permission. What do you mean I went too far? Right. And I'd rather now I almost like I might go too far. So maybe I'll just not.
Okay. That's fair.
But that's, that's been my fucking little tired, sad, whorish journey.
Well, I respect the belated apology for all your past wrongdoings.
Yeah. and impressed. I will say impressed. No roommate here, right?
No, it's me by myself.
Yeah. So like coming up, killing it, crushing
it. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else before we go that we should
No, I think that's it. I've had a great time. I've had a great time recounting all these stories and talking about growth and being a little mushy and also kind of mean. And I'm so grateful that you had me here. And I hope that everybody enjoys the renaissance of Nikki from Tinder. So,
well, Nikki, thank you again. And why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody once more?
Bye-bye.
Okay, look, Elijah Wood, I looked him up. He has a receding hairline. What are you talking about? Clearly touched a nerve there. It's okay. I'll get over it. The best place to discuss this week's show is in the episode discussion channel in the Champagne Room. The Champagne Room is our super free, super fun, super sex positive Discord server. Link to the Champagne Room in the show notes. We all want to hear what you thought. Of course, you can always send me your thoughts, your questions, your criticisms to manwhorepod@gmail.com. As I said in the intro, I rely heavily on Patreon for a stable source of income as an independent content creator. If you dig what I'm doing, if you find yourself tuning in a second, third, or more time, head on over to the Patreon, become a member. You can join for as little as $2 a month. Sign up for an entire year and you get a discount to all sorts of rewards and benefits. slip Billy some dollars at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast or download the Patreon app and find me on there. I have begun the editing process on episode 500, and I do not think y'all are going to be disappointed. I mean, if you are the type who listens all the way through the outro, I have a feeling you're also the type who does not miss an episode 500. But like on the off chance you're one to pick and choose and maybe skip, let me tell you, number 500, you're going to want to tune in for that one. The oral sex auditions, they coming back. And some are coming. Have a good week, everybody. Stay slutty. In the arms of the angel. Did you enjoy what you heard? For 7 cents a day, you can feed an indie podcast host. Support the show on Patreon for behind-the-scenes content, bonus episodes, Discord benefits, and the ability to brag at parties about donating to the arts. Join now at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. You're in the arms of the angel.